Himalaya.
You're listening to the Girl with Self-Esteem Issues, a Himalaya learning podcast. To access my Own Your Shit handbook filled with key insights and exercises, and to join a community where you can chat directly with me, go to Himalaya.com/Rosie and enter promo code Rosie to receive 14 days absolutely free. I hope to see you there. Hello, I'm Rosie Mercado, and this is the Girl with Self-Esteem Issues, a podcast that talks about life lessons and finding your happiness. Our guest today is a Latina who has completely dominated the world of journalism. She's executive producer and VP of the infamous morning show Despierta America, and she's truly an inspiration to many, including myself. Welcome to the podcast, Luz Maria Doria. ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenida.
Thank you, Rosie. Gracias for having me here. I'm very excited to talk to you. I always remember the way you inspired me when I met you. So this is going to be like an explosion of inspiration, this conversation.
That's good. That's good. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. And when we talk about inspiration, I love to start every podcast with an inspiring quote. And today's quote is by author and writer Mark Anthony. And he wrote, "And one day she discovered that she was fierce and strong and full of fire, and that not even she could hold herself back because her passion burned brighter than her fears." Luna, what do you think about today's quote?
You know what? That reminds me of my 50th birthday, 5 years ago. When on my 50th birthday, I decided that I was going to write my first book, that I wasn't going to be fearful anymore. And there is in Spanish, you said, "Me voy a quedar sin hubieras." In English is, I'm not going to pronounce I would have been, could be, anymore. I'm going to do it. Yes, I'm going to do it.
The would have, could have, should have, the regrets of that.
Exactly, no should have, yes.
No should have.
Exactly, yes.
Oh my God.
So I've been living like that for the last 5 years. And for me, from 50 to 55, it has been the happiest happiest years of my life.
So that's interesting that you mentioned something, because I feel that a lot of women in their 20s and their 30s, they get uninspired and they're like, oh my God, what's going to happen to my life? Like, I haven't done anything. Or they're always comparing themselves to someone else's best image on Instagram or on social media. And you're like, I'm not living that life and I should have been there. And there's this moment of comparison that they start getting depressed or uninspired. And they're like, well, I'm 20, I'm 30. I don't know what's going to happen. You said you started when you were 50, like that was when you lost your fear. 50 was a big number for you. In the last 5 years, it has been the best time of your life where you're like, I'm not going to live by would have, could have, should have. I'm going to get this done and it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So how was that change for you? Because hitting the big 5-0 was a big moment for you, and taking, like, what pushed you? What was the moment that you're like, I'm letting go of the fear? No mas. I don't care about my age. I don't care of anything. I'm just going to do it. This was what I've always wanted.
I'm going to be very sincere. When I was 50, I said, oh my God, 60 is like 5 minutes from now. It's like 60 and then retirement. So I said, I'm going to write a book because I want to tell younger people, that although they have fears or they are insecure, because at that age we all are full of insecurities, that you can become what you dream. And what I did was that I wrote that book, La Mujer de Mis Sueños, The Woman of My Dreams. And that book, Rosie, helped me, not only help people who read it, but also helped me to stand for what I believe, what my promise was. I said, I'm going to do everything I have to do to fulfill my dreams. If I have to, I hate public speaking. You cannot imagine. I have been, the last 5 years of my life, I have been working as a speaker. Can you believe it?
Well, it's so funny because sometimes you have to do the things that you don't like that, and face your fears to get to where you want to go. You have to put that work in.
And thank God I have had a beautiful career. I have been always very hardworking, but I work for other people. I didn't work for me. I want other people to shine. I never thinking myself of I could be the protagonist of what I wanted. So at 50, I said, okay, that is not happening anymore. I even write books for famous people as a ghostwriter. Why can't I write my own book?
I didn't know that. I did not know that you were a ghostwriter.
Yes, I was a ghostwriter. So I said, why can't I write my own book? Why can't I do my own interviews? Because I've always worked as a producer, and I don't regret it because I've learned. That was my job. The problem is that I wanted to do it, but I didn't feel that I was capable of because of my fear. So what I did at 50 was stop that fear. I still feel it. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
But the thing now is that I take action. Before, the fear paralyzed me. Now I say, okay, I will do it.
So let me ask you this, Luma. Luma, this is really interesting. Well, first of all, congratulations on not letting age define you, because I think that's so important. I turned 40 this year, and that for me was kind of like, oh my God, 40. And like you said, like, I feel like once you hit your 30s, it's like everything goes like this. It's like,
yes,
you were in your 20s and then you're like, okay, todavía me queda tiempo, 30s around, and then 30 hits and you're like, oh my God, now I'm 40. What do I have to show for this time? What legacy am I going to leave behind? Now, when those moments, you said that you still deal with fear, and everybody deals with fear. It's that inner voice that starts talking to us, that questions every move. Am I good enough? Am I capable? Am I going to be successful? What if I fall on my face? What if people don't receive this? What do you do when those moments of fear show up or pop up in your mind?
First, I pray. I pray. I have a prayer that I always have in my phone, and I always pray. Also, what has helped me is to read biographies of successful people, and I have found they all have fears. So there is nothing that separates ourselves from famous people, from the recognized people. The only thing is that they didn't let fear paralyze themselves. We all are the same. 2 weeks ago, I was taking an online course, and I had the privilege to be with a very influential CEO of a company, and it was live. And he was, when you read his title and you know what he does, you never believe he's a man who can feel fear. And he told me, when they give me this position, what I did was that I took a plane and I jumped in a parachute, because I wanted to to fight fear and to let fear know that I was going to take that position. When I realized that man that is so powerful feel the same fear that I do, I felt so good. It felt so good. We all do. The difference is that he fights against it. So we all. If I pinch you, it's going to hurt you. We all feel the same things. So the difference is that there are people who work with that fear. I read, I even talk to myself, and I say, okay, I'm very creative. I create that voice in my mind that sabotage me, because that fear is the voice that is always telling you, Rosie, why are you going to do a podcast? Who do you think you are?
Yeah. Or what makes you think, like, why are they going to read your book? Like,
exactly.
Or Rosie, like, come eat me. Like the food, like, it's all this stuff. Like,
exactly.
And what happens if I gain weight? And what happens if I lose weight? And what happens if they tell me no? Or what happens if I'm not a good parent?
Or eat that bread.
Eat the bread.
It's gonna just 2 pounds. Nothing is gonna change.
Yeah.
So what I did one day was said to myself, if I created that voice, I'm going to create another one. I'm going to kill that one, and I'm going to create another one who helped me.
Change your story.
And then I have that voice now that is a very good friend, who's also knows when to tell me, Luzma, you have to prepare, you have to study, you have to take courses, but also tell me you can do it. Go ahead, you can do it. And for a long time, those two voices fight. Now the positive one, the optimistic one, is winning.
You know what I found, and I love that you said, because a lot of people don't speak enough about this. Faith is such an important thing. And I respect all faiths. I respect how people go about their spirituality, how they incorporate it. And I just feel, I've always felt that I've been guided and protected, especially in my darkest moments. But you said that you pray, and I love that you mentioned that. And I feel like before I do anything big, any of my biggest moments that I've been so nervous that fear, like, am I going to fall when I go on stage? Are the words going to come out? Am I going to forget, what I'm talking about? Or are people going to just judge me when I go in there? People are looking at me, like, letting go of that. This is not about me. It's about the message that I have to deliver. And I feel like it's so important to, like, pray. And for me, my biggest prayer is, God, use me.
Yes.
God use
Put
me.
me,
God
I
use
always
me.
repeat, put me where do you want me to be?
I surrender. So it's your way of
I
surrendering and giving it
surrender,
to God. You
yes.
surrender.
Mhm.
How hard has it been for you to surrender and kind of like because you've been in this industry for more than 20 years. You've been
35.
you've been extremely successful, and you started at a very young age, and like it seems like every part of your life has taken you to this moment. Was there any time that you felt that it was hard to surrender and not knowing what was next, or that you felt frustrated and you're like, okay, this is not like, this has been amazing, I've been blessed to be here, but I'm ready for what's next? Was it hard for you to surrender?
Yes, very hard. And I am very grateful when you say that I'm very successful, but I still feel like I'm starting because I'm learning.
Wow.
I'm learning every day, and now during this pandemic, uh, they changed the world changed all the answers. So for people who make television, we're starting to do television. So
Yeah.
I think it's the first time in my life that I feel like I don't have the answers.
Oh my
So
God. I was going to ask you about that. It's crazy how all this has impacted you.
yes,
Does that bring up a sense of, I've learned all of this until now and all this experience. Now I'm a student again. Now you have to go about it a different way. How do you prep for that?
I always say that this pandemic not is not teaching me. It's rescuing all my lessons, all what I have
Wow.
learned. Because we all know what we have to do. The thing is that we forgot about that, and now we are like finding old pictures. Now we have time to organize closets, and it's the same thing with our mind. We all have we have all those lessons in our mind. We have patience. We know that we have to be patient. We know that we have to be compassionate. We know that we have to be more responsible. But it's like life was so quickly that
So
we said,
quick.
okay, later.
Yeah, so fast and quick,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. But you were telling me about those times that I have to surrender. I have an anecdote that it explain what I think about my work life. I remember I was the director of entertainment of Unimas. Unimas Telefutura at that time was the sister channel for Univision. And I was very happy there. We have everything. And one day, overnight, they said that they weren't going to produce anymore and that they were changing everything. And they picked me and told me, you're going to be the executive producer of Despierta America. Despierta America at that time was going through a process of leadership. They need a leader. They have a ratings. And I remember telling myself, what am I going to do there? I don't even like to wake up early. That's not the kind of show I want to do. That happened 8 years ago. That happened overnight. I remember I said to myself, I'm not even going to take vacation between one job and the other. I'm going to start. I also remember that when I went into that office the first time, I put my ego inside a box. I felt so bad because all that I have built in this in the other channel has finished, and I start from zero. And I said to myself, okay, I have like three more months of a contract, so they're gonna say goodbye to me when my contract is over. I've been there for 8 years now. Those are the most happiest years of my professional life because I learned how to help people. I can entertain, I can inform, I can help. And also I wrote my 2 books during those those 8 years. And we won 2 Emmys.
Wow.
So sometimes that thing that you don't want to do is the thing that's going to bring you more happiness.
Rejection is only redirection, isn't it?
Yes. My mom told me that day that the network closed. My mom told me, you know what? When you wake up, when you left this morning, you were younger. Now you're like 10 years older because I cried the whole day. I couldn't believe it that they say we're closing this. Wow. So I put it in my second book. Those uncomfy moments bring stellar moments to your life.
Talking about stellar moments, you brought something that's empowering because I think, especially, I think now in these times, people have become so fearful because literally everything changed like that. De la noche a la mañana, everything, people either lost their jobs, couldn't go to work, had to redefine the way that they work. And it was all these responsibilities. And also, I feel like this pandemic really pushed you to look inward, and the people that you live with, the people that you love, it forced you to look at your relationships, the way that you're doing things. And I think the biggest question, are you really happy? And one of the things that I've noticed is that you have really pressed forward in these last 8 years. I mean, writing your books, La Mujer de Mis Sueños, and you've gotten the opportunity to write your books. You thought that moment of breakdown was only a setup for you. You won Emmys for the show. Being a woman in power, you're the VP. You're directing Despierta America. You're doing all these wonderful things. How do you feel that you get to inspire people through what you do, writing the books, showing up for yourself, taking a challenge on, learning new things in a new era, and changing everything with the unknowns, not knowing what's going to happen next? How does it feel to inspire people that way? And then also making that one of your top values?
I'm very grateful. When I first wrote La Mujer de Mis Sueños, I wanted to help. I didn't even want to inspire people. I wanted to help. I was very concrete. I said, I wanted to help young women who are fearful and who are insecure, like I was. And I'm going to tell them through my life and through recognized people's lives that I have interviewed and that I've been near them, how are those formulas that make you grow and make you stand for something.
And then you have tu momento estelar.
And then I have mi momento estelar. First, when the La Mujer de Mis Sueños came out, they started interviewing me and inviting me to give conference. And I realized that I have to talk more about it because I thought it was a small group of people like me. Rosie.
Millones. Yes.
And they're beautiful. They are successful. They are not that beautiful and they are not successful, but they all think the same. They all have the same fear.
Yeah.
So I feel that I have the responsibility to keep giving light to people. There is an anecdote. My name is Luz Maria, and I never liked my name. My name, Luz, is like. And
Luz
when I
powerful.
start writing, people tell me, "Oh my God, you bring light into my life," and I say, "Oh, that's why that." Para eso era el nombre.
Yeah.
And I start liking it. So
the power of your name and what it meant and speaking life into other people.
Yeah. And you asked me, how do I feel? I feel very responsible. I think that's a very big responsibility, but I am also very grateful that I can do it. And also I am very happy that my purpose, that my mission, that is to serve in life, it's been accomplished.
You talked about earlier about something that I feel that a lot of people, especially in this industry, I mean, just in life, when you're a human being, you go through growth and you go through ups and you go through downs. But something that you touched on was you checked your ego at the door when you had a new opportunity. How important was that to check your ego at the door? What did that teach you about? Because I really feel like there's this moment of you being humble with all the experience and the success that you've had. To say that you checked your ego at the door, that really starts a new transition, a new Luz Maria, a new direction, a new growth. What did you do to do that? Because there's a lot of people that need to check their ego at the door and let that go, because I feel that when you don't do that, it hinders your growth. It doesn't allow you to connect with other human beings, which is part of our purpose.
Absolutely. I remember that I was thinking to myself at that time, if I came here as the big executive producer, the important executive producer, is not going to help. I'm going to talk to each one of them, and I did, to each one of the team, the members of the team, and I tell them, we're gonna work together as a team. I don't have a job because I just lost my job. They give me this, and you are about to lose your job because the show is not going well. So we all have to remar para adelante. I don't know how to say that in English.
Push forward.
Yes, and we did it. And there has been 8 years. They always tell me, "Oh, you're the best leader." No, I'm not the best leader. They are the best team. Make great teams, make great leaders. I think you have to be like ¿cómo se dice? Como el faro, como the control room of the team.
Yeah.
I'm older than them. Yes, I have more experience. I have worked more years. And I'm a combination like a mother and a boss. I always try to understand them, and also I always try to train them, not only as producer, but as a human beings. I'm always telling them, think about our audience as we are. We are very similar to our audience.
Yeah.
So we have to know the people that we are working for, and it has been very rich also for me. I have learned a lot from them.
What are your and as a leader, as a powerful woman that you are, and as a leader, to be able to take that and really inspire and bring that mothering into it, because I think that's an important part of who you are. What do you feel? I mean, values are so important in everything that you do, in the decisions that you make. What are your top 3 values that you guide yourself when making a decision?
You know what? I have a daughter who's 24. And when I have to make a decision, I always think about her. And I always say, if I want the people who make decisions that involves my daughter to be transparent, to be
transparent,
to do justice. So I do the same thing that I would like other people to do to my daughter. So to be transparent, to be real. Real is very important.
Authenticity is captured everywhere.
Yes.
You know, everywhere.
Yes,
you can see it in an instant. Yes. In an instant.
Yes. And think about the results. Why am I doing this? What are going to be the results? And there are positive, there are negatives. You know, always think about it. I'm very quick in making decisions. I think I have a good intuition. I always pray also when I'm making a decision.
Isn't it crazy how quick when you pray, how clear it becomes
Yes.
if you should go one way or you should go another? How clear that voice when you're intuitive. And I think when you pay attention, because you could pray for something like, I really want that to happen. It has to be a yes. It has to be a yes. But God is saying, por allí no es. And you're like, but I really want it. Pero por allí no es. And then you're like, if you don't pay attention to that, then you're running into problems.
Yeah. And also when you make a decision as a leader, you have to think about the team, not only about you.
Yeah.
Or the company in this case. No, it's something that if this is going to affect the company, is this going to help the company? So I'm always very thinking about the big picture.
The big picture. Well, talking about the big picture, there's so many people that are inspired that want to, you know, get into television, whether it's journalism, hosting, whether they want to become an actress, a model, they want to do something, you know, create social impact. They want to create justice. Doesn't matter in what realm they're going. It's all with a common goal, something that they want to achieve. For people that want to achieve one of their biggest goals and run into the point of intimidation, what would be your wisdom that you would pass on, that you've learned through everything that you've gone through?
Do you really think that you want to do this because you have a purpose, or just because you want to be famous?
Especially now.
Yeah. Because we all now, with this technology, we want more likes, we want more acceptance, I think. And you don't have to do things for that. You have to do things because you really believe in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And when I write my first book, and I'm very positive. I don't know what happened to me then. I say, if I can help 4 people, I'll be more than happy. I never thought about 4 million. I thought about 4 people.
4 people.
And everything that I do in television or social media or everything you do, whatever, I always say, if I'm going to help 1 people, I'm done. So obviously, everything is a business, and you want to go to trascender. You want to, yes, but don't do it because you want to have money or because you want to have fame. Do it because you believe in what you're doing and you really think you're going to help people, or you're going to change people with the thing that you're doing, or lives are going to be better.
Yeah. Wow. Well, this is where, Luzma, this is where we're going to do this thing that I love to call Rosie's takeaways. This is where we
I
talk
love
about,
it.
this is where we talk about a moment of adversity that you had in the past, like that tough moment that you learned from. Can you tell me about that moment of adversity that you had, and what was your biggest takeaway, your learning lesson from that?
I think that the saddest moment of my life is when my father died. He had Alzheimer and cancer, and I'm the only child. I always remember that, and it has been 12 years, and it still hurts. And I remember that at that time of my life, I didn't want to. He was in Colombia, I was here. I didn't want to take airplanes because I was very fear. I was full of fear of flying. I have fear of flying. So for me, every time I was going to go to Colombia, it was like a turmoil. I don't want to take the plane. I don't want to see my father. I have to work. So it was like a very difficult time. It takes like 3 years, the process. It took like 3 years. And I remember when I was in Colombia, he died when I was there. Thank God. And I came back. I learned that you have to be fully present. That you have to enjoy every second. My father he had a good life. He was very happy. He was a very optimistic, was very parrandero. He liked to drink, he liked to dance. He was very young. He died when he was 64, but he never get old. So I remember that time, 12 years ago, I learned that I was going to enjoy life more, and that the possibility to see my father dying was gonna bring more happiness to my life. Not that I was happy because he died. It was because now that I went with him through the whole process of, he was a very intelligent man. He loved to read. He had Alzheimer and then cancer, and the cancer made him like he was like, I don't know how many pounds, but he was so skinny. Everything finished in that bed. He didn't have a mind. He didn't have a body as I knew him. So I told myself, Luzma, this has been, I think, the big lesson of your life, and you're going to enjoy life. You're going to help people. You're going to be fully present, and I have done it. I always says that my birth makes my dad very happy. His death make my life better.
Oh, wow. What a way to be able to honor your father, but also what a way to be able to to look at death in that way and use it as a lesson for you to become a better human being, a happier human being. And I think the most important thing that everybody is learning is to be present be in the moment, and really see everything that's going on, enjoy what's happening, and be grateful for the breath that you're taking right now. And I think sometimes we don't do that. We take all those things for granted, and in a split second,
you don't know when life is going to change.
Luzma, thank you so much for being a light, for being an inspiration, for sharing those moments with us, and more than anything, having the courage to face your fears and letting your purpose shine to impact others. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for being on the podcast with the girl with self-esteem issues, you guys. I'm Rosie, and today's podcast was just amazing. A breath of fresh air. Luzma, thank you so much.
Thank you. I love you.
Learning to live in the present moment. The idea of living in the moment has inspired lots of us. You've probably read lots of quotes and heard lots of sayings. You've probably heard things like, live like there's no tomorrow, live as you'll die today, and so much more. Living in the moment takes lots of practice. But when you learn how to live this way, you will live a fuller life and appreciate the beauty in everything you see and everything that you do. So learn to be present right now. First thing you could do is focus on the now. In order to live in the moment, you need to focus on the now. Focus on what you're doing. Shut off the TV, turn off the computer, get off the phone. Savor the present moment. When you're living in the moment, you're practicing mindfulness, which has lots of benefits. It reduces stress, boosts your immune system, lowers your blood pressure, and has other beneficial physical and mental effects. Did you know mindful people are more secure and have a higher self-esteem and are happier? And when you're happier, there's something that happens within you. You have gratitude. So how to have gratitude? Pay attention to the small things. Notice everything around you, including the small things. Notice that you are breathing and have movement. Sometimes we take that for granted. Learn to be thankful for that. Living in the moment and taking notice of the small things will help you cultivate more positive experiences, and gratitude attracts more of what you're grateful for. If you want to know how to live in the moment, you just have to take a look in the mirror and smile. It will influence how you feel, so be grateful, breathe, and smile. These are simple tips to help you not only be present. These are simple things that you could do right now, not only to be present, but also to be happy. Remember, I'm always here to help you, and I'm always here to grow with you. Hey guys, this is Rosie Mercado, and we're doing the look of the day. My top is provided by Target.com, jewelry by Melinda Maria Jewelry, hair by Jennifer Arias, makeup by Drea, and nails by Lily. Hope you keep watching The Girl with Self-Esteem Issues. If you want to hear more about my journey, be sure to check out my memoir, The Girl with Self-Esteem Issues, available in both English and Spanish through HarperCollins and HarperOne. You can find the link to purchase in the show description or wherever you're listening to this podcast. Thank you for listening to The Girl with Self-Esteem Issues, a Himalaya learning podcast. To access my Own Your Shit handbook filled with key insights and exercises, and to join a community where you can chat directly with me, go to Himalaya.com/Rosie and enter promo code Rosie at checkout for your first 14 days absolutely free. I hope to see you there.